What up? Schmidtward here, checking in. Project Diablo 2, Season 11, Prosperity. This is my Charger Paladin Tier 2 Rathma attempt video. Yeah, my last goal of the season was to get that Tier 2 Rathma. I've been trying on Assassins the last few seasons and haven't gotten there. So went full meta, not that Assassins weren't meta in the previous attempts, but yeah, we're doing Charger Paladin. Here's the gear overview. Highlights are that IAS Ethereal 4-socket Doombringer. That belt is pretty sick. Using some F Water Walks, Max Fire Res Slam, only 2, but that's okay. Yeah, and an F Andes that Nikia, sorry for pronunciation. He gave me that, put 2 ohms in it per Zix's and Kareen's advice. I had a triple jawed Andes, but decided to go with a double ohm to get cold res to 90 on their advice. I put 2 points into resist fire to get from 89 to 90 fire res. We have 90 fire, 90 cold, 90 poison. Our amulet gives 10% curse reduction, so we only need 30 overcap instead of 33. I didn't show the skills, but it's max charge, max vigor, max might, max fanaticism, 2 points into resist fire, as I mentioned, and then we dumped into holy sword. I'm 1 off Holy Sword from getting the next 1% block or parry increase, but didn't really have a point to get there. So yeah, we just went with, I think it's like 49% chance to block, not quite sure. Yeah. But phase 1 is pretty easy. You're just fighting Mendeln, trying to dodge the towers, trying not to get hit by a sludge, and just getting the golems down. Pretty basic, but I've done, like 130 tier 0 Rathmas this season. Most of them on the Charger. I started Blade Sentinel, but it was just very clear that Charger is pretty cracked at the moment. Probably the best Rathma build next to the Maul Bear or whatever that Druid spec is. Not super familiar, but it seems pretty broken. Charge is really good. You get the Holy Sword parry. That's really nice. You can block a lot of the mechanics. In phase 3, you can block like the Poison Nova that Mendeln does, which is really nice. Yeah, I had been bringing in like extra antidotes on my tier 0 farming sessions for phase 3, just because it can be a little annoying trying to get your antidotes right, and at tier 0 you don't really need to maximize the rejuves you bring in. So yeah, I just brought extra antidotes, but yeah, I did a tier 1 and then some pluggy runs on a similarly geared paladin, and kind of just, as long as you know which Poison Nova you're antidoting, you don't really need more than 4. Especially with like a claw block or a holy sword parry. I could see on like, a Zerk Barb or the Maul Druid that you would want maybe 1 to 2 more extra antidotes, just since you can't dodge that mechanic, to my understanding. But yeah, having claw block or holy sword parry is very good, and yeah, I would recommend trying it out if you haven't. I guess another gear shout out would be those IAS strainers. I've been looking for those for what feels like months. Well, I guess it probably was months, but I haven't been playing a lot like farming maps or bosses. I've just kind of been sitting on the high runes I have and trying to collect, the last pieces I needed to make this happen. But yeah. Here's phase 2. With the charger, I think it's just as rippy as phase 3, because to do damage to Rathma, you have to be, up in his grill, and you can't, use a different mob as a buffer to dodge the spears. But yeah, I'm killing every skeleton that shows up, and the benefit there is you just get out of Rathma's melee range for bone spear, so you can just dodge it super easily when you hear the sound for bone spear. If you're killing a skeleton, you just sidestep 2 steps to either side and you'll miss it. So it's pretty much free to take out the skellies as long as they're in the arena and not outside. Here on the knights, you're supposed to prioritize the Fizz Knight, just since you don't have any PDR in this fight generally. So if it's safe to do that, I will do that. Generally, I'm also just trying to move away from the action during the Void Knight phases, since if 5 Void Knights throw their little attack at you and Rathma hits you with a bone spear, you're probably gonna die. Ask me how I know. But yeah, Charger's been a lot of fun this season. It's a really good bosser. I think now that I have Rathma down, I'm going to try to collect some max lightning res gear, or just socket some lows and try to get some Lucian experience in. I don't have any Lucian skills under my belt, kills rather, at all. The fight just seems, for lack of a better word, easy. Dodge the lightning, kill the portals, kill Lucian. But yeah, I guess I will try to do that fight next. Probably on the Charger, and then I'd like to do Blade Sentinel for Rathma, just since that's been my target the last few seasons and I haven't gotten there. But here we got phase 3. So I was kind of saying phase 2 is harder than phase 3 just because you can use Mendeln as a bone spear buffer in this one. Because you can just, as long as they're not stacked on each other, you can just kind of buffer that bone spear range with Mendeln and then sidestep it more easily. Not that I did that there. I generally die in phase 3, so I was pretty nervous going into this one, just since I do have a lot of history dying here on tier 2 attempts. So yeah, I'm kind of over Juvane. I definitely do not manage my rejuves optimally or even close. Pretty sure my sketchiest moment is in the 3rd Void Knight phase. I think I'm just running around with a chicken without a head, or whatever that phrase is. But yeah, you'll see that here soon. TM. Rathma is a very cool experience. I would definitely recommend it to people who have not tried bossing. A lot of people start with Uber Triss, do Declone, then do Rathma, throw in Lucian whenever in that sequence if you want to try that too. But Rathma is probably the most rewarding fight. It's just by far the most difficult in my opinion. There's just a lot going on and a lot of RNG. It feels good when you kill Rathma, whether that's tier 0, 1, or 2. Not that I know what tier 2 feels like before this video. But yeah. Again, just killing the skeletons. It's pretty much free. The bone spears are by far the rippiest mechanic in this phase. The poison nova or the sludge nova can get you down low on HP, but as long as you manage that fairly well, you won't get hit by the sludge and the bone spear at the same time. Here is that Void Knight phase I was referring to earlier. I go in with like half a belt worth of rejuves. That's definitely not smart, but it is what it is. I like to keep my cube rejuves specifically for when the Void Knights are up, just because when they're not up, you can kind of use your inventory fairly easily. But when the Void Knights are up, I mean, opening your inventory to try to refill pots seems like an unnecessary risk. So I just like to keep those ground potions available if I can. At this point, I just know I have to dodge the bone spears and zerk them down. And once I get Mendeln down, ideally I'd like to separate them. Once I get Mendeln down, I just refill my belt, and then, I just zerk Rathma, I ignore the bone spears, and I just juve through them. I have the amount of potions in my belt needed to do that, and it's probably not optimal, but I do that fairly often on like tier 0s with Rathma on the charger. So yeah, I just thought I'd do it here too. Shout out Nakia for the Andes and the CTA. Appreciate you. Shout out Serve. He's a big charm reroller, and he got me a bunch of the charms that I'm using in this video. So appreciate that. I will snapshot the gear. It'll be in the description of this video. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hope the rest of your season 11 goes well. And I'm looking forward to more info on season 12 when that comes out. Shout out Senpai, shout out the dev team. This is my favorite ARPG to play historically. So yeah, it's awesome. And Project Diablo 2. Hope you don't go away anytime soon, and appreciate you guys watching. Hope you guys have a great day wherever you are. Schmidt word out.